It was like a finals game. The arrival, the atmosphere around the building, in the hallways here at Staples Center. Kobe seemed very...
In the summer of 1996, the NBA was on the brink of transformation. The draft that year produced one of the deepest classes in basketball history, but no storyline proved more consequential than the arrival of a confident 17-year-old from Lower Merion High School, Kobe Bryant. His selection at the 13th pick by the Charlotte Hornets, and the immediate trade that sent him to the Los Angeles Lakers, altered the future of the league and helped define an era. Yet behind the lights, cheers, and cameras was a world of intense negotiations, front office politics, and pivotal decisions that could have rewritten basketball history. What if Kobe had been taken earlier? What if the New Jersey Nets, holding the 8th pick, had embraced the risk? Now, Warner Brothers is set to bring that moment to life in a new feature film titled With the 8th Pick. Unlike a traditional cradle-to-grave biopic, this story narrows its focus to the draft day that changed everything, peeling back the layers of strategy, doubt, and ambition that swirled behind closed doors. Described as a blend of Moneyball, The Social Network, and Air, the project promises a dramatic look into the business of basketball, where one choice could echo across decades. Written by Alex Sohn and Gavin Johansson, and produced by Tim and Trevor White of Star Thrower Entertainment alongside Religion of Sports, the film explores the delicate balance between risk and reward in professional sports. It examines how Bryant's fate, and ultimately the Lakers' dynasty, hinged on a handful of conversations, calculated gambles, and a belief in the extraordinary talent of a teenager untested by the NBA stage. Still early in development, with the 8th pick invites audiences to revisit not just Kobe's rise, but the fragile and fascinating machinery of the draft that delivered him to Los Angeles. With the 8th pick does not attempt to capture Kobe Bryant's entire career, the triumphs, the championships, the controversies, or the legacy that followed. Instead, it narrows its lens to a single day, one that carried the weight of decades, the 1996 NBA Draft. This film asks the haunting what if at the heart of sports history. What if the New Jersey Nets, holding the 8th pick, had taken a chance on Kobe? What if fear of drafting a teenager straight out of high school hadn't clouded their decision? And how might the league look today had the Hornets not traded him to Los Angeles? The story unfolds in the boardrooms, practice gyms, and war rooms of NBA franchises where executives wrestled with doubt, ambition, and pressure from agents and scouts. Rather than focusing solely on Kobe, the narrative widens to reveal the complex machinery of professional sports, the back-channel conversations, the risks hidden behind statistics, and the fragile balance between opportunity and fear of failure. It is here, in the smoke-filled strategy sessions, that the drama of Kobe's destiny plays out. In tone, the film echoes the intellectual sharpness of Moneyball, the high-stakes ambition of The Social Network, and the nostalgic, brand-defining energy of Air. It is as much a story about business as it is about basketball, a procedural that uncovers how calculated decisions behind closed doors can ripple out to define culture, reshape franchises, and create legends. By reimagining that single night in 1996, with the 8th pick promises to illuminate the fragile moments where history is not yet written, and where the future of the NBA hinged on whether or not to believe in a teenager named Kobe Bryant. To bring such a pivotal moment in sports history to the screen requires more than just a script. It requires visionaries who understand both the drama of competition and the human stories that drive it. With the 8th pick was born from the imagination of screenwriters Alex Sohn and Gavin Johansson, whose spec script quickly caught the attention of Hollywood. Their writing doesn't just trace the mechanics of draft day. It breathes life into the doubt, ambition, and fragile calculations that shaped Kobe Bryant's destiny. Backing the project is Warner Brothers Pictures, but the real force comes from its producing team. At the helm are Tim and Trevor White, the duo behind Star Thrower Entertainment, known for their ability to blend character-driven drama with larger-than-life themes. Alongside them stands Religion of Sports, the media company co-founded by Tom Brady, Michael Strahan, and filmmaker Gotham Chopra, with producers Ryan Stoll and Gotham Chopra lending their weight. This collaboration fuses Hollywood storytelling with authentic sports perspective, ensuring the film is not only cinematic but true to the spirit of competition. Together, these teams aim to craft a story that resonates far beyond basketball, Their collective experience, spanning award-winning features, gripping documentaries, and culture-shaping sports stories, positions them to deliver a film that bridges the worlds of business, sport, and destiny. While the project is still in its early stages, without a director or cast yet attached, the creative foundation is set. With this lineup, with the eighth pick has the potential to become more than just a sports movie. It could stand as a defining narrative about risk, reward, and the unseen decisions that rewrite history. At this point, with the eighth pick remains in the formative stage of its journey to the big screen. Warner Brothers has secured the spec script, signaling its belief in the project's potential, but the film is still in the delicate process of shaping its identity. No director has yet been named, and the casting, perhaps the most eagerly anticipated decision of all, has not been announced. This early phase is where vision meets possibility, where studios and producers weigh not just the logistics of production, but the legacy of the story they are about to tell. For a film about Kobe Bryant, every detail carries weight. The choice of actor to portray him, the filmmaker entrusted to craft the tone, even the music and design that frame the narrative. These are not just artistic decisions, but responsibilities to Kobe's memory and to basketball culture at large. Audiences will not only demand authenticity, they will expect reverence for a figure who transcended the game. Still, this stage of uncertainty is also one of promise. It is here that the blueprint of the film solidifies, drawing from the creative voices already attached, while inviting new collaborators to refine its vision. The buzz surrounding the script, already likened to celebrated dramas like Moneyball and The Social Network, suggests that the industry sees more than just a sports story. It sees a cultural event in the making. In development, the film exists in that rare and thrilling space between idea and reality, where anticipation builds and the story of Kobe's draft day begins to take on a second life, this time in cinema. At its core, with the eighth pick is not just a film about basketball, it is a story about choices, about the fragile nature of opportunity, and about how a single decision can alter the course of history. The 1996 NBA draft was filled with talent, but Kobe Bryant's journey through it became a turning point not only for the Lakers, but for the league itself. By revisiting that night, the film forces us to confront the magnitude of what could have been. What if the Nets had embraced the risk? What if Bryant's destiny had led him somewhere other than Los Angeles? These questions are more than hypotheticals. They remind us of the razor-thin margins that shape greatness. The film matters because it captures the intersection of sport and culture, where boardroom negotiations ripple out to touch millions of fans, define legacies, and reshape the identity of franchises. It reminds us that heroes are not born in isolation, but are often the result of unseen decisions, made under pressure by people who themselves could not foresee the weight of their choices. In Kobe's story, the draft was the hinge on which his legend swung, setting him on the path toward championships, rivalries, and a legacy that extended beyond the court. By dramatizing that pivotal night, with the eighth pick preserves not just the story of Kobe Bryant, but the broader truth of how history is made, quietly, in the rooms where choices are debated, gambles are weighed, and futures are sealed. That is why this film matters, because it allows us to see how greatness is shaped not only by talent and drive, but by the fragile decisions of a single day. And that's the story behind With the Eighth Pick, a film that could redefine how we see one of basketball's greatest legends. It's not just about Kobe's rise, but about the choices, risks, and near misses that built his path to greatness. As Warner Brothers shapes this story for the big screen, one thing is certain: this isn't just a sports movie, it's history reimagined. If you're excited to see how this unfolds, hit that like button, subscribe for more deep dives into sports and film, and let me know in the comments. Who do you think should play Kobe Bryant on screen? Because sometimes, the past is more dramatic than anything Hollywood could ever invent.